Hey guys, it's Eddie Speed, founder of Note School. I was just rereading an article, got it up here on my computer, and it's from Housing Wire. And basically the title of the article is COVID-19 Lockdown is Squeezing Real Estate from All Sides and Threatens to Burst Housing and the Mortgage Bubble. Wow. That can't be true, Eddie. It can't be true. I called my local realtor. My local realtor says, every time I list a house, I get 6 offers, right? There's no inventory. There's no way, right? And if you've been watching these videos over the last few months, this sounds a little bit like a broken record. Okay, so I'm going to tell you why I'm so intent on your getting this message. Because after 40 years in this business, I've made some mistakes in the past. And I told a friend literally earlier today, a trusted friend, a sophisticated guy, I said, you got to watch who you're listening to, right? And I'm asking you to listen to me, and I'm asking you not to listen to some others, okay? But I'm doing it with a purpose. Right now, 17% of every FHA loan is either in forbearance or delinquent. A poll of over 4,000 tenants in a tenant pool, 1/3 of them said they were not able to make their full rent. So this market will come home to roost. I've said a lot about this. I've used this article in a couple more pieces of information, so I won't repeat the same thing. But I will say it's got some good significant data in there. If you've not gone back and seen some of the other things we've done where I've addressed this specifically, I think you ought to do that. Today, I want to talk about shadow inventory. All right, so here's a story. 2008 comes along, and everybody's scrambling with what the real information is about how big this problem is. Literally, probably 1/3 of the calls that I had in 2008 that lasted for hours was me either asking somebody else or somebody asking me, how big do you think this problem is? The truth of the matter is, our industry did not have enough data. So, money came to the industry. The stock market crashed, and Wall Street money came to our industry. But let me tell you a condition of Wall Street money. Wall Street money is only going to invest with data. They're not going to invest in a story that can't be supported by data. So they got the data sources, CoreLogic or Black Knight or Realty Tracker, whoever it is, or all the above. They basically said, guys, we're not willing to make investments unless we have Wall Street level data. And so they went out and they started measuring not just the houses that were listed with foreclosure specialist agents, REO agents, but they said, what's the backlog? What's behind this? So they measured loans that were in foreclosure. They measured loans that were delinquent but weren't in foreclosure. They measured loans that were where the houses were vacant and unoccupied. They measured all of these different variables because they said all of these properties are eventually going to come down the pike. They called it shadow inventory. You can Google it. It was a big thing. And our industry was drastically driven and formed and shaped by shadow inventory. And I was asking a friend of mine very recently, has anybody been talking about shadow inventory? He's a pretty seasoned real estate investor, but he's young. And he goes, what do you mean? That's what I was thinking. We've forgotten a term that formed and morphed and really had a lot to do with how we measured the depth of the hole in 2008. So let me give you some numbers, and let you start thinking about what real estate inventory means. Now, we talk a lot about properties that have been placed on the market, and the amount of properties on the market and the number of sales. So July was a record. But July was only up 5% from last year, right? So the number of sales was not that amazing. It was only 5% greater than last year. But we all understand that there was a fever to buy, and that's because there's a shortage of listings. So where is this shadow inventory, and how does it come to roost? Well, you got about 3.5 million loans that are paying, but under an agreement that they know they don't have to pay. What is that called? Forbearance. You got about 3 or 3.5 million, and once again, some of these sources don't repeat, so they're not all Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans. So some of these resources don't report, and the market is having to take somewhat of a guess. But 3.5 million are 90 plus days delinquent. They're not just delinquent, they're 90 plus days delinquent. Take those numbers combined, you've got between 6.5 and 7 million loans that are in trouble. Yes, forbearance has gone down, but the people that are in forbearance now are really in forbearance. They're not somebody that just wanted to skip their mortgage payment. They got a problem. So you've got 7 million loans here. You've got landlords that are not collecting rent, but they have equity. A landlord that is scared and frustrated and doesn't have a tolerance, but they have equity, oh my goodness. They will tell the realtor, just sell it. Oh, but the market's going down. We thought it would bring 100, or we thought it would bring 200, and now it'll only bring 180. Sell it. Right? You measure all of that combined. By the way, there's 18 million more residential rental property doors. There's 18 million more than there was in 2010. You can pick a very modest percentage and look at a very excessive number. These all represent shadow inventory. And I cannot encourage you enough. If you got that piece of property, if you've got those 5 properties, if you've got something that you need to get rid of, I'm going to beg you with all my heart. Today is a day to get rid of your problems, right? Today is a day to do it. That's my company mandate. It is what I tell my closest confidants in the business. It's what I tell my coaching students. It's what I tell everybody. So I just thought I would share with you today. There's plenty of data and facts. You can reach out to us. We'll share articles. We'll share lots of charts and data. We've got tons of information to go support our position of these forbearance loans, delinquent loans, landlord situation. All of this is screaming. We've got our information. We've gathered information from a lot of other sources. It is, if you're sitting in the seat we're sitting in after this many years in the business, it is something that we have dealt with over and over and over. Shadow inventory. It was a big deal in 2008, 9, and 10, and I believe it will be equally a big deal today. So put a new word in your real estate vocabulary. Shadow inventory. And take the precautions, or check into the precautions that I'm suggesting, because I think it will be good to you in the future. Thank you. See you later. Hey, for those of you guys that are still watching, hey, remember, like this. YouTube loves for you to like what I'm saying, and I love for you to like it too. And subscribe. Now, a lot of people ask us on a regular basis, what do I do? How do I progress? How do I learn more about what Eddie is talking about? Well, right here in the band, here's some information we'd love to share with you. We've got great articles, great stories, great training of all types that show you how to position yourself in the market and position yourself for the market ahead. We'd love to hear from you. Let's take action. Let's go kill this business that's going to be ahead of us, because the opportunity is going to be incredible. See you later.